Hey guys, how's it going? Solo back with another daily update video. It is Wednesday, which means it's hump day. 2 more days to go before the end of the trading week. And wow, what a rough day in the market it was today. Take a look at this heat map here. A lot of red on the board, and not just a little bit of red, but deep red. And if you can see here on the bottom right, the deeper the red, we're talking minus 3% or so. Bright green means plus 3%. So that's a good way to gauge exactly how the sectors are doing and how the market is doing overall. In this video, you've all requested it time and time again. Let's talk again about Palantir. Let's talk about some recent news because there has been some big news that popped up recently on Palantir. And then we'll do some updated technical analysis on ticker symbol PLTR. And then I want to talk about the overall market today because, like I said, the market itself had a big red day today compared to the past few trading days and weeks even. And let's finish the video by doing some updated technical analysis on the S&P 500. We'll take a look at SPY. We are due for some updated TA on SPY. So stick around to the end of the video and then you'll get my prediction on where I think this market is going to go from here. So let's get right into it. Like I said, big red day in the market. Take a look at the semi sector. Got crushed. AMD down 3.1%, back down to $90. Nvidia down 2.5%. The Honey Badger, Micron down 2%. So big tech also had a bad day today. Facebook, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple. Also, news just broke at the end of the day that I believe 48 states were filing a lawsuit claim against Facebook because they believe it's acting as a monopoly. And I saw there were kind of urges for Facebook to break up their organization. So they want to split off Instagram and WhatsApp. So kind of shaking news in the market, but doesn't look like Facebook was hit any harder than any of the other big tech stocks. Maybe a little bit, but not that much by the news. We'll have to see what happens with Facebook tomorrow to see if investors take that poorly and Facebook sells off tomorrow. But let's talk about Palantir. Let's start off by looking at the Robinhood graph. You can see not a good day on Palantir today. Down almost 7%, down another 0.1% after hours. If we take a look at the weekly graph, kind of a hump, right? We really took off to the moon on December 7th, and I'm going to show you and tell you why that happened. Kind of had a flat day yesterday and kind of had a downward curve today, unfortunately, looking back at the one-day graph. Very choppy day, but overall, like I said, we just melted off. Kind of had a rebound right before power hour, but again, still couldn't save it. Palantir was down as much as over 10% today before we rallied back during the last 2 hours of the market. So what's the big news that happened on Palantir? Well, here it is right here. On December 7th, and when we look at the TradingView graph, you're going to see that big green candle that I'm going to show you. But just a few days ago, Palantir was awarded a $44 million FDA contract for a drug review technology. So no, Palantir is not working on a vaccine, but they're doing what they do. And it looks like they're doing their data analysis, technological analysis for drug review. So that just sent the stock soaring to the moon that day. We'll take a look at that in just a second in the TradingView graph. But take a look at this. On Monday, its stock rose over 21%, while the overall S&P 500 index was down on the day. So that's great. I mean, take a look at this. The Q3 2020 fiscal numbers for Palantir grew its revenue by 52% year over year to over $289 million. So this is not a small company by any means. And let's take a look at some more recent news on Palantir. And that is going to be this article here on CNBC. And this is just as of today morning. And I guess a trader is saying that it's time to take some profits on Palantir after that monster rally earlier in the week. So that kind of happened today. Is that because this trader was able to predict the future, or was there more to it? I think it's a little bit of both. It's probably a lot of profit taking on Palantir because of that huge run up earlier in the week, but it was probably compounded by the fact that the overall market sold off a little bit today as well. So take a look at this stat right here. Palantir's government business makes up nearly 47% of its current total revenue, according to FactSet. And the company is expected to post $1.07 billion in sales this year, growing to $1.4 billion in 2021. So looks like they're doing pretty good this year so far, or they are expected to at least, and looks like they're expected to improve even more next year. So overall, at least based on these brief numbers that we're seeing in this article, seems like the financials for Palantir are looking better and better right now. And let's take a look at this. So Palantir, there's a quote by this so-called trader that says, "We saw a nice reversal candlestick on December 2nd, strengthening the case that the highs will be taken out. I do not hold the stock, but will be looking to add for a trade only through the $35 mark with defined stops." So he kind of thinks, or she kind of thinks, that maybe $35 might be a little bit too toppy, and they're setting stop losses to cut their losses if Palantir does decide to sell off. But let's not listen to this mysterious trader. Let's do our own technical analysis on TradingView. So let's take a look at Palantir, which is right here. You can see the last time we did TA on Palantir was right here on December 4th. And I even have my pink squiggly arrows for my prediction. And I thought it was either going to rise and use this area of trend at about $24 as support, or I thought it might sell off a little bit and go all the way down to $21. Well, it looks like this arrow was incorrect, and we in fact did rise up and bounce off this $24 area of support. But it's kind of weird because that's also the same day, this big green candle, December 7th, that news broke of the $44 million contract for the FDA contract. So I guess I was right, but again, it was really probably because that news broke. So that's probably more on the fundamentals per se, or on a catalyst of the news, than really the technicals. But interestingly enough, after that big green day on December 7th, we had 2 red candles in a row, including today. And I had drawn an area of resistance at about $28. So you can see the following day, we did have continuation, but we did have a pullback almost to that level of what then became support. And then we broke down below that area of support. So now it's resistance. And we closed today at $26.63. Like I said, almost down 7%. So the question everybody wants to know is, where do I think Palantir is going to go for the rest of the trading week? I think we are going to have a little bit of a continuation of the sell-off personally. I think we're going to come back down and test $24 again. And I say that for a couple reasons. One, seems like the overall market sold off today. So if the overall market continues to sell off tomorrow, that's also going to keep driving Palantir down. But that is not a function of Palantir itself. But obviously, it's not going to help Palantir if the whole market is selling off and the stock is trying to rise against the grain. The other thing is, take a look at the RSI. RSI is still near the overbought category. It's not towards the middle yet, and it's been relatively overbought for almost the entire month of November. I mean, take a look at this. From November 5th to December 1st, it's been above the 70 RSI level, right? Just recently, we finally broke down below the 70 RSI level in early December. So I think we still have a ways to drop. I do agree with that trader in that there might be a little bit more profit taking just because of this huge run up Palantir has had. It has been very hyped up on certain subreddits. I think a rug has to get pulled. So the other thing is, take a look at this. The 21-day moving average is at about $21, high 21s. Given another few days, I'm sure this will rise to about $22, maybe even as high as $23 by the end of the week. So that's going to coincide at some point to my support level at 24. And that's why I think that'll be an extra level of support, maybe somewhere around $23 or $24. So I do see ourselves pulling back to at least that level. And then I think from then on, as long as the overall market, as long as this isn't the beginning of a continued downtrend in the market, I think we'll have a bounce off 24. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. This little dash here, this little pink line, that is the 50-day moving average that's starting to form. And you can see that's obviously very far away from where the stock is trading. The 50-day moving average is at about $15. Right now, we're trading over $10 above that. So that's also why I think we're going to be pulling back a little bit, because we're so far away from the 50-day moving average, still pretty decently far away from the 21-day moving average. We're about $5 away, but this is only a $25, $26 stock right now. So $5 is 25% of its share value right now. So that's my price prediction on Palantir. I don't think there's any new areas of support or resistance that I can draw right now, because it looks like we're trading in this range between about $24 to $28 until we get more price action. So for those of you that have stuck around, let's do some updated technical analysis on SPY, the S&P 500, to close out the video. And take a look at this. We have not done updated TA on SPY in quite some time. So let's update these fib levels and see what we can come up with. So we drew the fib levels from the most recent low on October 30th. I'm going to have to update the fib highs. And I'll probably do that to the intraday high today, which was at about 371, which I believe, and yes, I am correct, that is a new all-time high for SPY intraday. Although we could not hold it, we closed SPY at about 367 or a little bit lower than that. So we did sell off a little bit throughout the day. We had a red day. Obviously, SPY was down 0.9%, which is actually a pretty big move for SPY because SPY is usually one of the least volatile tickers out there. So let's draw some updated support and resistance lines on SPY right now. Looking at these new candles, I think there's going to be an area of support right here at about 364. You can see we topped out here on November 27th, also topped out there on November 9th, also bottomed out there a few days later on December 2nd. So I think right now, our area of support is going to be 364. I think we also hit support just now at 367. We bottomed out there today. We bottomed out there on December 4th, topped out there on December 2nd and 3rd. So I think actually today we closed on an area of support. So what I'm going to be looking to see tomorrow is this level of support going to break? And are we going to go down to 364? Or are we going to bounce tomorrow and bounce off 367 and go more towards new all-time highs or retracing our intraday high today? So I don't know. It's kind of a 50-50 shot right now to see what the market wants to do. But I think if we do break down below, 364 is going to be an area of support. Now, the 21-day moving average is at about 362. So maybe Thursday, Friday, this 21 MA may also creep up to like 363, 364-ish. I think if this 21 MA coincides with 364, this trend line, that's going to be a super strong area of support right now. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Although looking at the RSI curve, SPY is closer to the overbought side than the oversold side. Take a look at the 50-day moving average is at 350, quite a far away from where we closed today at 367-ish. So I do think tomorrow we'll have to wait and see what the market wants to do because I can't make a really strong prediction right now. The one thing I am noticing is that looks like we formed another trend line, something along the lines of maybe this. And it looks like today, like I said, we've broken down below that area of trend. So I want to see if we can confirm that we are breaking this upward trend line tomorrow, and are we going to continue selling off or not? I don't know. There's not a lot of price data, like I said, since we've been hitting all-time highs all this week for us to use historical price action to see what's going to happen. That's really my TA on SPY right now. I'm going to let the market decide and tell us what it wants to do tomorrow, and then we can do some more updated technical analysis once we get more price action data tomorrow and Friday. As always, hope you enjoyed this video. Please smash that subscribe button. Please tap the like button. Add me on Discord, add me on Twitter, add me on Instagram, follow me on Reddit. Just go ahead and stalk me on all social platforms. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and happy trading.